The workshop smelled of oil, metal shavings, and the peculiar ozone tang that came from working with salvaged alien tech. Leon wiped his hands on a rag, squinting at the half-disassembled hyperdrive component on his workbench. 3 years on Frontier Station 7, and he'd carved out a decent living as the only human mechanic willing to work on xenotech without asking questions. The scratching at his workshop door was so faint he almost missed it. Leon frowned, setting down his plasma wrench. It was well past station midnight, hardly the time for customers. The scratching came again, more desperate this time, accompanied by a sound that made his chest tighten. Crying. He opened the door to find her huddled against the frame. She was Valkyrie, one of the squirrel-like species from the outer rings. Her fur, which should have been a lustrous silver blue, was matted and dull. Her large dark eyes were red-rimmed, and her bushy tail wrapped around her thin body like a tattered blanket. She couldn't have been more than 17 in human years. "Please," she whispered in heavily accented standard. "Please, kind human. I sleep in Doghouse? Just tonight?" "I cause no trouble," Leon's jaw clenched. He'd seen the doghouse she meant, the environmental shelter he'd built outside his workshop for storing temperature-sensitive equipment. It was barely 3 feet high, designed for cargo, not people. "Kid, you can't," he started, but she flinched so violently he stopped mid-sentence. "I pay. I have credits." Her trembling paws produced a handful of low-denomination chits, maybe enough for a single meal at the station's cheapest vendor. Leon's heart cracked. He'd heard the stories. Valkyrie refugees had been flooding the frontier stations for months, fleeing the corporate wars that had devastated their home colonies. Station authorities called them vermin, and most businesses refused to serve them. He'd seen them sleeping in ventilation shafts, eating from recyclers invisible to everyone who mattered. "What's your name?" Leon asked gently. "Elsa," she said, her voice barely audible. "Elsa, listen to me. You're not sleeping in any doghouse." He stepped aside, gesturing into the workshop. "Come inside." She stared at him like he'd spoken an alien language. "Inside, but I am Valkyrie. We not allowed to. This is my workshop. My rules." Leon's voice was firm but kind. "Come on. It's cold out here." Elsa crept inside like she expected a trap, her tail twitching nervously. Leon noticed she moved with a slight limp. He guided her to an old couch he kept for those rare moments when a repair job ran overnight, though those moments had become less rare lately. "Sit," he said. "When did you last eat?" 3 days, she admitted, then quickly added, "but is okay. Valkyrie can go long time without food. We are tough." Leon suppressed a curse. He rummaged through his personal locker and found an emergency ration pack and a bottle of clean water. Elsa's eyes widened when he handed them to her. This is too much. "I cannot." "You can and you will." Leon sat on his work stool, maintaining some distance so she wouldn't feel threatened. "Eat first. Then we'll talk." She devoured the ration pack in seconds, her small clawed hands shaking. When she finished, tears streamed down her furred cheeks. "Why you help me?" she asked. "Everyone else, they throw garbage, they kick, they say Valkyrie are thieves and pests. You are human. Humans are supposed to be cold? Cruel?" Leon finished. He'd heard that before. Humans had a reputation in the outer colonies, efficient, calculating, and ruthlessly pragmatic. "Yeah, well, not all of us." Elsa wiped her eyes with her tail. "My mother, she used to tell stories about humans. She said during the Krill invasion, when all the galaxy turned away from the Valkyrie colonies, it was human ships that came, human soldiers who fought. She said humans are, stubborn? They not give up on people." Leon felt something tighten in his throat. He'd been a kid during the Krill invasion, but he remembered the vids. Remembered his own father shipping out with the Terran Expeditionary Force to defend worlds humanity had barely even made contact with. "Your mother was right," he said quietly. "So why are you alone? Where's your family?" Elsa's ears flattened against her skull. "Dead, the corporate wars. I escaped on refugee ship, but when we arrive at station, they separate us. I have no papers, no sponsor. Station authorities say I must leave, or they put me in detention center." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I hear things about detention centers. Bad things." Leon stood up abruptly, making Elsa flinch again. He forced himself to move slowly, deliberately. He went to his terminal and began typing. "What you doing?" Elsa asked nervously. "Fixing a problem." Leon pulled up the station's business registration database. As of right now, I'm registering an employee. Elsa, he paused. What's your family name? Star Whisper, she said softly. Elsa Star Whisper, junior technician. Leon hit submit. There, you're legal. You work for me now. Elsa leaped off the couch, her tail going rigid. But I know nothing about machines. I will be terrible employee. You will lose money. Then I'll teach you. Leon turned to face her, and for the first time since she'd arrived, he smiled. Velkari have some of the steadiest hands in the galaxy, and your people's spatial reasoning is off the charts. You'll probably be better at this than me in 6 months. I cannot believe. Elsa pressed her paws to her mouth, fresh tears flowing. Why would you do this for stranger? For worthless refugee? Leon knelt down so they were eye to eye. First, you're not worthless, nobody is. Second, my dad used to say something before he shipped out to help your people during the invasion. He said, humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our stubbornness. It's that we remember what it's like to need help and we actually give a damn. Elsa launched herself forward, wrapping her small arms around Leon's neck in a fierce hug. She sobbed into his shoulder, her whole body shaking. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you. Leon patted her back awkwardly. Yeah, well, don't thank me yet. You're going to earn your keep. Those hyperdrive components won't calibrate themselves. Over the next few weeks, word spread through the station's refugee community. The human mechanic with the cluttered workshop wasn't just willing to help, he was actively hiring. Within a month, Leon had 3 Velkari technicians, 2 Thracian apprentices, and a Malur bookkeeper who worked for room and board. Station authorities grumbled, but couldn't do anything. Every employee was registered, legal, and paid according to station minimums. When they tried to fine Leon for overcrowding, he cited 17 different labor statutes they were violating and threatened to contact the Terran Labor Board. They backed off. Elsa blossomed. Her fur regained its luster. Her limp disappeared with proper medical care, and her natural aptitude for mechanics emerged. She could disassemble and reassemble a plasma regulator faster than Leon could on his best day. One evening, 6 months after that desperate night, she found Leon working late on a particularly stubborn piece of krill salvage. Boss, she said. She'd taken to calling him that despite his protests. I finished the calibration on Bay 3. Already? Leon looked up, impressed. That was supposed to take 2 days. Elsa's whiskers twitched in what he'd learned was a Velkari smile. I show the others the trick. We work as team. Leon leaned back, studying his workshop. It had transformed from a lonely workspace into something resembling organized chaos. Multiple species working side by side, sharing techniques, laughing at Xenotech's peculiarities in a dozen different languages. You know, Elsa said softly, I tell other refugees about what happened. About how I beg to sleep in Doghouse and humans say no, human give me home instead. They not believe at first. Yeah? What changed their minds? I bring them here. I show them. Elsa gestured at the bustling workshop. This is human thing, I think. You not just save one person. You save one person, then teach them, then they help save others, like chain reaction. Leon chuckled. Humanity, fuck yeah, right? Elsa's translator struggled with the phrase, but she got the spirit. Yes, humanity, fuck und yeah. She paused, then added, you know what they call you in refugee district? They call you the stubborn human who gives damn, his title of great respect. Leon laughed, a real, genuine laugh that echoed through the workshop. Well, kid, I learned from the best. Outside, Frontier Station 7 continued its indifferent rotation, blind to the small revolution happening in Workshop Bay 17. But revolutions, as humanity had proven time and again, rarely started with grand gestures. They started with one person, opening a door. The end.